Line not on there. Here we are. Welcome to the Bottom Line Bombs. I'm your host here, Sullivan, the man in the box. I almost wasn't in the box. Yes, E.R. Bell, welcome to the chat. You got a bomb sound effect. But I did. Don't worry, guys. I am in the box. Welcome, everyone. This is the last part of the C block. It's already been a long day. I know it's a late time start here for everyone watching live, but you guys are here. It is 3:20 Pacific time, Thursday, November 30th. Thursday Night Football is coming on soon, so I'll get to that real quickly. Well, then we'll give out 5 more picks for the Circa Million contest as the quarterly winds down. Week 4 of the quarterly. We're hot coming into it. We're 12-3. So maybe a 5-0 week, and we can maybe we can sniff some of that Derek Stevens Circa money. Who knows? We'll do that. Maybe another Survivor, and then of course a man in a box with all the Spotify raps in Movember. I'm not even sure if I talked about that last time, but that's not the point. The point is, you guys are with us here on Thursday, going into the weekend of week 13, the part of the C block. I did the prop show earlier. Anyway, yeah, tonight it's Seattle, Dallas. We'll get into that in a second. Wobbly Rooster. Wobbly Rooster says he got attacked by a dog this morning while hunting. Had to put old Yeller down. Hey, all right. That's kind of the comments. I got attacked by a dog. Cowboy. I like when I said this with Biden's dog. Was it Biden's dog? They finally put him down. They still don't put him down. Owners don't like putting dogs down. They said sometimes they'll lie. I had a buddy who had a dog that would always attack people, and he'd lie and say, put it down. There's a dog. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a dog mask on the desk there. A poodle. Pretty funny poodle dog mask. That Sean Green got during the Eagles run of dog masks, but he didn't get the German Shepherd, so he got a poodle. So here we go. Anyway. Justin, welcome. Degenerates, first live show. All right. Well, welcome, Justin. You got a bomb for that. Yeah. Wobbly Rooster got me distracted with the dog. I know they won't put Biden down either, he says. I like when the people, dog owners, they talk to their dog like they understand human language while it's happening. All the time I was coming in the driveway, and this vicious dog named Cowboy came running at me. And his owner's like on the balcony, like way back. He's like, hey, Cowboy, what are we doing? What did we say? We don't do that, right? Cowboy doesn't do that. Well, Cowboy's doing it. Cowboy's coming for my ass. I was like trying to juke him, give him a little Barry Sanders, and he got me like a copper tone baby style. Yow! Cowboy, we don't do that, Cowboy. Yeah, well, Cowboy's doing it, you motherfucker. You know what Cowboy doesn't do? Cowboy doesn't understand human language. So why don't you get down here and grab your goddamn dog? Anyway, we're getting distracted here. On the bottom line bombs, I could talk dog bites and attacks all day, and putting down dogs and old Yeller, but we won't. Speaking of putting down dogs, and then you got Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. They play Seattle. Line is 9.5. Is that true? Oh my goodness. Let me take a look at some of these props. Now, the Cowboys have not beaten anyone with a winning record. That's true. Look, total's 47.5. That seems like, but the Cowboys are destroying teams at home, especially, and bad teams. They beat up bad teams. Now, how bad is Seattle? It's up to you. I think personally, I think Seattle bounces back a little bit, shows a little bit of heart. You have Geno Smith, who's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league, Geno Smith. The man who wins comeback player of the year like several times during the same game and season. Sometimes you're like, oh man, he's great. He's back. Then you're like, oh God, why is he in the league? He's terrible all within like the same hour. His prop tonight, by the way, is over 1.5 passing touchdowns at plus money, which I think is pretty nice and juicy. I like that. It says a late night East Coast edition. The chat is filling up. JC from KC, the head poncho of the C-Generates. Late night East Coast bomb edition. Just finished up the weekend bomb show. What's up, C-Generates? That's right. Yeah, it's 6:30 out there at East. As you're driving home. Imagine driving home. Put your laptop up on the dashboard and listen to me as you drive home through traffic, through web traffic. I'll get you through all the web traffic. I'm just looking at my thumbnail. I went a little abstract with the thumbnail because it's Niners Eagles preview. So I had a gold niner, and an actual eagle dropping a football on him in the mountains. There's a ram up there too. Why don't you start doing more mascots? It's more fun because who cares, right? Just YouTube thumbnails anyway. There's studies. You're probably asking me, CJ, are there studies on what YouTube thumbnail attracts the most viewers? Oh yeah, there are. And people teach classes about it. That's the society we live in. Mr. Beast did an experiment survey if mouth open or mouth closed works better for your YouTube thumbnail. And it was mouth open, I think, or closed. I forget. Doesn't matter. It is a beautiful Bob Ross painting. You're right, JC. Not to be confused with the Minnesota Viking mascot from last time, dresses Bob Ross. Anyway, let's get to this Cowboys game. So I think this line is a little cooked up, a little Brandon cooked up. Speaking of which, we're going to take Brandon Cooks over 41.5. I'll bomb that. I mean, this Cowboy offense is pretty prolific. I don't want to lay to 9.5. I'm not excited to take Seattle plus 9.5. I like the Cowboys team total over 27.5. They both have had a full week off since they both played on Thanksgiving. I guess Seattle played on Thanksgiving. I don't know. It was at night. Everyone was passed out by that point. But the Cowboys, I don't know. Thursday games are always tricky. So that's why I always like to say lately, I feel bad for C-Generates. The primetime games I throw out there just for the live C-Generates here. I whiffed on Monday. We had Minnesota in the over. That did not come in. And it wasn't even close. That you knew that wasn't going to come in 10 minutes in, like 5 minutes in. You're like, oh, okay, this is what this game is going to be. Oh, the Pastronauts are fraud. Okay. Well, that was a fun story. I like how we all just immediately wrote that off. Even Minnesota reporters like, no, you're not throwing him out there again, right? The Pastronaut, that was ridiculous. There's a reason why he's been on 3 different teams this year. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. It was fun though while it lasted, wasn't it? Who else do we got? Nick Mullins? Good God. All right, we'll do that. Anyway. So tonight we have Cowboys, Seattle. I don't think the Cowboys are going to roll like they've been rolling like 52-10 without all these versus horrible teams. Seattle's not that bad. They're 6-5. This would be the only first winning team Dallas has beaten all year. I just watched an Instagram reel where this Cowboy fan realized that the Cowboys haven't beaten a winning team. I guess it went viral. My man XL, Xavier Lamont, sent it to me. It's a funny video where he's like, yeah, we've beaten someone with a winning record. Hold on, let's check. Giants? Nope. Jets? Nope. Okay. The Chargers. There we go. Oh, no, they're 4-7. Oops. All right. Well, I guess we suck. No, but then as a Cowboy fan, well, we're still the best team in the league, bro. Even though we lost by San Francisco by 50. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. I never know what to say in this intro. The game, I'm always feel like I'm spitting out this primetime game real quickly, but I also want to say hello to everyone and welcome everyone into the chat and all that. But so I combine it, and then here I am forcing and fasting like the NBA tournament. I wanted to talk about that NBA playoff tour. I'll talk about that later on. Let me do some reads here, then we'll get into the contest bombs and then some man in the box. Plenty of time to talk about once we get to the man in the box. But first, let me talk about Bet Rivers. We're brought to you today by Bet Rivers. It's available in over 14 states plus Ontario, Canada. Bet Rivers is some of the best live betting markets in the space. Their betting menu is second to none, including a ton of props. Depositing, withdrawing is pretty easy too. My Bet Rivers play of the day is Seattle plus 9.5. Sign up using our link to get a free bet up to $500. Just go to sportsgamingpodcast.com/BetRivers. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetRivers. Do you have a problem gambling? Let me answer that for you. You do. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And you'll get Kenny Rogers on the other line, and he'll tell you what to do with your 16 on a 7 blackjack hand. Combining a Drew Carey joke there with Kenny Rogers. I have a famed Kenny Rogers story, but I'll get into that later because we're back here on the Bottom Line Bombs. Thank you. I'm thanking myself. Just throwing bombs out there. I don't know if you see generous ever know my Kenny Rogers story. Maybe I should get into that now. But we have to get into the Circa Millions contest. We are using the Circa Million lines, which came out today on Thursday, for the contest point spread. We're hot. We're on fire. We're 12-3 the last 3 weeks, and this is the last week of the quad. Now, there's a lot of people ahead of us for it, but it's still good for the overall. I forget what our record is overall. I'll update it on Monday, but hopefully let's try to get a 5-0. Do I tell the Kenny Rogers story now since I got into it? I think I've told it before plenty of times. All right, fuck it. I'll tell it. Why not? You guys deserve it. See, Jennings for sticking with me here. And because RIP Kenny Rogers. Kenny Rogers, the gambler, we all know. I should play some of his music. My old manager and brother Kevin Madison, friends with Kenny Rogers' son. My old manager's friends with Kenny Rogers' son. And they used to tour with Kenny Rogers and go out and hang out. And they hung out in a casino in Vegas. And Kenny Rogers gambling in Vegas is a sight to behold. Crowds gather around Kenny Rogers. He's the fucking gambler. He's Kenny goddamn Rogers, you know? They're at Caesars, I believe it was. Crowds gathering around Kenny. He's playing blackjack. He's playing big hands. All of a sudden, he's getting down. He starts chasing. He pushes it. He shoves. Fuck it. Let's go. One big hand. 20,000 on it. He gets 8s. He splits them. Another 20,000. Now he's all in. Now he's pulling out from the pockets. Now he's got like 45K on the table. He got a 3. Got a 14 is 1. Everyone's like, yeah, Kenny, Kenny. They're cheering for this one hand. It's like, there's 45K on the table. Kenny, Kenny. Brick. He loses. Dealer pulls out a 21. Bust. 45K swept to the casino. Back to Caesars. Everyone's like, oh, God damn it. Kenny Rogers lost. And then Kenny puts his hand up. Crowd goes silent. Has command over everyone. Don't worry, folks. Sometimes you got to know when to walk away and know when to fold them. And I was like, yeah, Kenny. All right. He lives the song, man. Kenny lives the fucking song. Whoa. And then they're chanting Kenny again. Kenny, he knows how to lose. He walks towards the elevator. My manager, his son, a couple people are with him. They're walking towards the elevator. The crowd's following him. They're chanting, Kenny, Kenny. The elevator doors shut. Kenny's waving to his fans. And as soon as the doors shut and they're out of sight, Kenny Rogers flips his fucking lid and starts destroying the elevator. Goes, motherfucker! Takes the fire hydrant off, rips it off the wall, starts smashing the elevator buttons. I mean, this is when, Kenny Rogers Roasters wasn't doing so well. Losing 45,000 is never good. You imagine being on security and seeing that? Like, is that Kenny Rogers destroying our elevator right now? You might want to get the boss for this one. He'll love it. Hey, let him go. He's the gambler. That's what he does. Got to know when to hold him, when to fold him, baby. Anyway, that's my Kenny Rogers story. I think I haven't told that in a while. Anyway. All right, let's get into the bombs. Bottom line bombs, 12-3 last 3 weeks. All right, let's start off with Atlanta versus Jets. Line is -2. This is an amazing game. Horrible game. The over-under is 33. Like it's an Iowa football game or a preseason NFL. I mean, just absolutely disgusting. Hard to decide which team you want to take. But we have to go with Atlanta -2. We have to go with Atlanta -2. And it's not, do we like Atlanta? No. Do we like Desmond Ridder on the road? No. But Tim Boyle, good God, is Tim. We're like, all right, they're like, okay, we got to get rid of Zach Wilson. And I think Robert Saleh even, it's amazing how they're not playing Trevor Siemian. And that's my only fear of taking Atlanta here is that Trevor Siemian might see the field. But Tim Boyle, holy shit. I've never seen there's a lot of bad quarterbacks playing in the NFL right now. He has to be the worst one. And it's so funny. He even admits it. He's like Aaron Rodgers' buddy. It's Aaron Rodgers, he takes his entire team hostage. It's kind of amazing. He's like, yeah, I'm Aaron Rodgers' buddy. I was a backup for him in Green Bay. He likes me, so I keep getting jobs. I wasn't even good in college, to be honest with you. My college stats are terrible. And if you look at them, they are. Well, how the hell did you even get in this league? I figured out the test on pro day. He basically got he swapped answers with someone. He had a good pro day, got into the league, and then became friends with Aaron Rodgers. That's all it takes. But these Jets, I mean, they are so bad. So Tim Boyle is the worst quarterback in football. So much so, they won't even give you an interception prop on this guy. I think Aaron Rodgers keeps him around because he's one of these guys. He likes to keep people around that are so worse than him that it makes you like him even more. And Aaron Rodgers keeps threatening to play. Oh, he like come off IR. I'm going to play Christmas Eve and play versus Washington, so I could tell the haters and manifest my Achilles. A lot of talk to see if Aaron Rodgers was ever hurt in the first place, and the bet detective is on it. C generous, don't worry. The bet detective. I do think he hurt his Achilles. I do think that because there's talks that he never hurt his Achilles. I do think that, but I think it happened a while ago, not on the first open Monday night game versus Buffalo. I think it happened in his rock cave, his darkness retreat. When he's taking ayahuasca and going to T Swift concerts with Justin Long or Miles Teller, whoever the fuck he's friends with. He ripped something his Achilles. He's probably doing some kind of healing thing. Ripped his Achilles apart. He's like, uh-oh, I'm not going to get paid money if I let him know that this happened in a jungle somewhere and not on a football field doing my job. Not in some friggin' Amazon jungle. I think he went there. Didn't he go to some Amazon jungle too? Where are these darkness retreats? Where do you pay money to fake like you're into this culture of a darkness retreat? Cultural appropriation of Aaron Rodgers. So I think he tore it a while ago and then waited to the first game, went out there, went down to second play. He didn't want to do the first play, he's throwing a fight. And then that's it. And so now he'll be back in December, end of December. Who would it be nothing better if he comes back Christmas Eve? What a Christmas gift that'll be for everyone if Aaron Rodgers comes back and plays on Christmas Eve and blows his other Achilles.
I'm just sipping that beautiful whiskey you guys gave me for Christmas.
I mean, how amazing would that be? If he blew his other Achilles on Christmas Eve. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy that he injured himself in an Amazon jungle during a darkness retreat on ayahuasca and then blamed the turf at MetLife. I got people fired for that shit too. I'm just saying he's an annoying person and he's keeping this entire Jets team hostage. And because of that, we're going to take the Jets -2. I'm sorry, Atlanta -2. What did I just say? That's probably a Freudian slip. Anyway, we're taking Atlanta -2. See generates. That Amazon jungle's no joke. Remember that story with that Columbia plane that went down and the 4 kids like survived? They were the only survivors. They were like lost like for a month in the jungle, but they survived for. I mean, it's insane. The mom died. The pilot died. These kids just squirmed out of the plane, lived in the fucking jungle because their grandmother taught them. She was like indigenous or something, like, and she taught them survival skills, and they were fine. They're like living inside trees or cooking. When the rescue team took ayahuasca, I think too, to find it. That's what it was. The rescue team, like some guys, like, all right, we forgot to find their spirits. We got to take ayahuasca. We're like, what? Trust me, it's the only way. I think you just want to do drugs. Yeah, that too. So they got the whole rescue mission team to fucking take drugs, and they found the kids, and the kids were there waiting on them. Like, what? Where you been? We're cooking. Little one killed a hog. You want a hog? You guys hungry? We've been here for a month. Anyway, that was a crazy story a couple months ago. In the news, I'm just saying, if you dropped an American kid, you drop an American kid in Disneyland for 5 months, it'll start eating his brother. If he's lost for 5 minutes, let alone survive in the fucking jungle. Yeah, I apologize. Earbo says he went off the road when I said Jets -2. You know I meant Atlanta -2 because the line is -2. We're not taking the Jets. We're not taking Tim Boyle. Although, I mean, listen, the reason why the line is so small is because Atlanta, not great. They are healthy. Desmond Ritter, good gosh, some of his interceptions are amazing. But we're going to take Atlanta -2. We like it. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to, speaking of bad quarterbacking, Tampa Bay, Carolina. North Carolina, Petey Pablo. The line is Tampa Bay -5. Now, Carolina just fired. Not only did they fire Coach Frank Reich, they fired everybody, all their coaches, except. Let me see. Who did they leave behind to call plays? Because I don't know if they have any. See, a lot of times when teams fire a coach like Josh McDaniels, the team celebrates and there's a big bump, and the Raiders won a couple games. Chris Tabor is the fucking coach. Who the hell even is this guy? They're bringing in an outsider. He arrived in 22 under Matt Rule. He's a special teams coordinator. You're going to make the special team. This is where you're just trying to rally. This is not what's going to work. See, no one liked. They didn't hate Frank Reich the way they hated Josh McDaniels. That's why I don't think they're going to get a bump here. And the play calling is just going to be. It doesn't matter who you switch to play. Because I keep going back and forth with this play calling, but you still have Bryce Young as your quarterback. Nothing is going to change. Thomas Brown, is that the fucking play call? I forget. They switched to him midway through the season. Frank gave him the play calls, and then he took it back. He's like, nothing works. Yeah, nothing's going to work because Bryce Young's your quarterback. But not only did they fire Reich, they fired like Deuce Staley. They fired all the coordinators. So one guy has an iPad that has plays in it. Everyone else is just like, we like those guys. You know what this is like? And now they're doing the special teams coordinator. This is hilarious. This is like when Police Academy lost their Mahoney with Steve Guttenberg. You know, they liked Guttenberg, and then he left. He got too big for Police Academy. That's fine. Mahoney got too big. No big deal. But we're still going to keep making Police Academies. We're going to go to Russia. We're going to go down to Miami. You know. But what did they do? And this is where the Police Academy series went off the rails, and you could tell there was tension within. Because I think Gutenberg left after 4, or maybe it was after 3. Anyway, but they replaced him with another Mahoney they got from the outside. They didn't promote from within. They didn't make Tackleberry a chief or Bubba Smith or Hoofs or anybody. Tim Kazurinsky, anybody. Winslow, get the goddamn sound effect. Anybody. But they brought in a new Mahoney, and it hurt the team. You could tell there was strife in there. You know, like what the fuck? Who the fuck's this Mahoney? Some other pretty boy. We don't need that. And that's what Carolina did. So I do not see a bounce back or a bump, as they say, a coaching firing bump. I think it'll be more of the same. Carolina is, I mean, they look horrendous. They should count their lucky stars. Who says that? Count their lucky stars. That they got that one win versus Houston, versus your CJ Stroud, but they got it. Bryce Young, I mean, he looks shorter and short. He looks like he's 5'3" out there. He's like jumping. He has to jump on somebody else's shoulders just to peruse around. He jumps up on a lineman's shoulders just to see if a receiver's open. Then he gets to back down. Then he throws the ball. It's not looking good. Baker Mayfield, he's a little banged up. Tampa Bay can still win this division. That's the thing with Tampa Bay. They did not look good last week. Baker is a little banged up, but I just think Carolina. I mean, I think Carolina is going to look worse because of the police academy rule. So let's do it. Let's bomb it. Tampa Bay -5. Bombs away. And the reason why Frank Reich got fired is because of Bryce Young. It's because he's not good. They also don't have any receivers. They have Adam Thielen, DJ Sharp, but whatever. They traded away DJ Moore. They're a mess. I mean, yeah, it's too early to write off Bryce Young, but he's not good. And there's nothing. He never looks like something out there like, oh, he might be somebody. He never looks like that. And what's hurting him more is that CJ Stroud in Houston, who got taken number 2, is amazing. And everyone wanted CJ Stroud. Everyone in the organization except for the owner. The owner comes in last second. Yeah, no, we're going to take Bryce Young. And then it doesn't work out. Okay, you're all fired. Why didn't you stop me? Because you're a billionaire. Yeah, well, I got to hire people that'll stop me. And if they do, I'll fire them too. Speaking of which, CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans is our third game. Houston at home versus Denver. Line is 3.5. This is a weird game. Houston laying 3.5 is a bit much. Now, like I just said, they're the team. They lost at Carolina. They lost at home versus Jacksonville. It was a good game for the division. They won at Cincinnati. They won at Jacksonville. They've been a great story. They also should have lost at home versus Tampa Bay. They should have lost at home versus Arizona. So now you're laying 3.5 to a Bronco team that's all of a sudden playing well. Unbeknownst to them, they can't believe it. That's the thing with Russell Wilson. He seems more shocked than all of us, than any of us, that they're winning games. Yeah, that whole "let's ride" thing. I just say that. I didn't know this is actually working. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm not doing anything to win the games. I'm just not doing anything to lose the games. They pay me $250 million to manage the game and do little 4-yard shovels. I will say this. Russell Wilson is the best outside of Patrick Mahomes. He's the best at falling down shovel passing. Like, you think he's in the grasp and he just flicks it out 4 yards to the running back, who immediately gets jacked up. Jacked up. Remember that segment on ESPN? You got jacked up. You got a concussion. That was the best. They used to show on ESPN, instead of "you got mossed," their segment was "you got jacked up," and they would show all the brain injury hits, and they'd promote it because that's what the NFL was. And now they look back at that in shame, but they shouldn't. NFL used to put out videos like that. You got jacked up. That's how hypocritical the NFL is, though. They would put out videos promoting those tackles, and then they find people for their helmet hits. Speaking of which, how about that Monday night game? Wait, did I give out that bomb? If you didn't know where I was going with that, I'm going Denver +3.5. I think it should be a good game. I just think that's a tough game. It's tough to lay that many points. We'll take Denver +3.5. The Bears player who got 15 yards for taking his helmet off, but it got broken and his face mask was like all bent up. He's like showing people, like showing it like he's a fucking gladiator. Look at this helmet. Look at this trophy. How can I take it off? Which is ridiculous that they still have the penalty, 15-yard penalty for taking your helmet off. Why? Because it drags attention to yourself. It's an old penalty. We don't want the players putting attention on themselves. All these unsportsmanlike and tauntings come from white billionaire owners. And they have their meetings like, I don't like when these kids from Mississippi celebrate and be happy about an athletic achievement. I like when these people that I own do what I say. Let's make this a point of emphasis. No taking off your helmet and saying, look at me. But meanwhile, now you could do a production of Guys and Dolls in the video in the end zone. They have like group dances. Like, it's kind of antiquated. You're allowing people to look at them. Anyway, the guy who shot the video of Tyreek Hill, didn't shoot the video. He took his cell phone, did a selfie of him flipping. They fired him. The NFL fired him. The equipment guy for the Dolphins. But meanwhile, they show it on their fucking NFL Twitter page and website. Oh, the NFL is the best. The absolute best. Anyway. Let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the daily fantasy sports made easy. You go to prizepicks.com/SGPN. Use code SGPN for a first deposit matchup to $100. That's prizepicks.com/SGPN. Code SGPN. That's when you get to watch the games like daily fantasy, pick higher or lower for a couple guys. Prize Picks is great because it gives you that injury buyout. I love that. Even if one of your players gets hurt, it's called a reboot policy. Let's say you pick Brandon Cooks over higher than 41.5. I got to make sure I say higher and not the O word. And let's say Jackson Smith-Njigba for Seattle. He is higher than 44.5. Let's do both of those. He's from Dallas, so he's going to have a big game. And one of them gets hurt. Let's say Brandon Cooks gets hurt, God forbid. What happens in real football? Did they play with 10 men? No. They replace them with someone else off the bench. And that's what I always hated about fantasy football. Like, your quarterback gets hurt, Justin Herbert gets hurt. Oh, that's it. Now you just play with no quarterback. What? How's that a thing? That's not what they do in football. They replace them. Nope, sorry. But Prize Picks does. They use a reboot policy. Then it gets you another guy, and you're just fine. So make sure you get that insurance there when you're playing Brandon Cooks tonight. Anyway. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter. It's NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets. The research betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets. Revolutionary parlay optimizer tool. Get hit rates broken down by leg as well as exceptional probability for entire parlay. Stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching. Start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And we're back here on the Bottom Line Bombs. I'm your host, CJ Sullivan. Those were the ad reads. Thank you, everyone, for watching on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button. We're going into the weekend. You got to like it. You got to like me. Yeah. You know what? Before I said I didn't care if you like me, I care now. Now I'm giving you a lot. I'm giving you Kenny Rogers stories. I'm giving you analogies. I'm giving you a little too much coffee energy right now. I just realized that. Even though that ad read, that was a bit much. All of this is a bit much. Anyway, I appreciate everyone watching live on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button. As we go late here on the C block, I know we got a late start because I had to do the prop show early. This is just a big situation. Anyway, we've given out 3 bombs so far. We've given out Atlanta -2, Tampa Bay -5, and Denver +3.5. We got 2 more games we're going to give out, then a survivor, then a man in the box. And then we're going to go with Tennessee, Indianapolis. The line is 1. Indianapolis is favored by 1 in Tennessee. Why is that the case? Because of Will Levis. Will Levis does not look good. The honeymoon phase is over with Will Levis. First game he came out, DeAndre Hopkins bullied him, throwing him touchdowns, and he did it. Now he throws up these fucking hilarious moon balls, and it's been not going well. But they've been playing tough teams. Now they got the Colts, and it's in Tennessee. They're 4-1 at home. Their only loss was versus Baltimore, and that was a tight game. Derrick Henry starting to crank it up a little bit. That Colts defense is horrendous. I think Henry's going to have a big game. I think Levis will not a get right game, but he'll look a little bit better. Gardner Minshew, he's falling apart. Minshew's not meant to play this long. Minshew's a backup who comes in with the mustache starting Movember. This will be December, and everyone's rallied up. Everyone hears a story. He lived in a van in the off season. He's got a guitar. Look at Minshew. He's wheeling and dealing. But then after like 6 or 7 games, you're like, okay, how long is this going to last? Not long. It's hard to sustain, and it's getting bad. Now Jonathan Taylor's hurt out of nowhere. And I like Zach Moss as a backup, but he's not Jonathan Taylor. And that Colts defense is just absolutely horrendous. So you got Tennessee at home. Jonathan Taylor, you knew Jonathan Taylor was going to do this for a while. I mean, he did get paid in the contract, but he's like, if he did this on purpose, I wouldn't put it past him, and he'd be right to do it. Because fuck Jim Irsay. Could call him out and say he's not worth it. That he did finally sign him. But Jim Irsay's got a rough life. He recently said he was profiled as a rich white billionaire. How do you profile a rich white billionaire? Is he driving a 1920s Rolls Royce, like open with a monocle? Usually when I say cops pull you over for profiling, it's a minority in a nice car, bumping music, and they got tinted windows. But for a rich white billionaire, Irsay, throw on the lights. There he is in a Studebaker. Fucking eats it all. Is he passing Grey Poupon to another owner? He sure is. Go get him, Smokey. Jesus Christ, what am I doing? I need to calm down. I apologize. I don't know where it's at. Too much energy. Sometimes it's too much energy. But yeah, cops saw her saying they knew that's a billionaire. Let's get him. I bet he has $40,000 worth of pills in his trunk.
700 billion and $1,300,000,000,000.
Oh, that's hilarious. I mean, Irsay, what the fuck are you thinking to say? I don't care if you were profiled. You don't say that. Who do you think is going to relate to you? Who's going to think you're going to be like, oh, I feel bad for him? No, Jeff Bezos to say, I hear you, Jim. Hey, I got that the other day in my spaceship. I took the rocket to the moon, and NASA wanted to see my papers. Can you believe that shit? All because I was a rich white billionaire. Unbelievable. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to take Tennessee +1. Finally, our last game, we're going to go into Pittsburgh Steelers versus Arizona. Line is 5.5. Here's another team that shouldn't be laying this many amount of points, or it's weird that they are, but you understand why. Pittsburgh laying 5.5 with that offense is bad, but they fired Matt Canada last year. They blame Canada, and oh boy, did it explode! It exploded. They haven't had a 400-yard offensive game in 3 years, which is amazing. And then they fire Canada, and they immediately have a 450-yard game, and they pop the champagne. They scored 16 points for Cincinnati. Relax, Steelers. But that being said, the offense did look better. They looked relaxed. I think Kenny Pickett's going to have a nice game. Arizona, they're pretty banged up. Trey McBride is hurt, the tight end who's to do everything. Zach Ertz is like retired, but he also might go play for Philly. Who knows? Rondell Moore is like their only healthy receiver. James Conner returns. I like his receiving over. He returns to Pittsburgh. He was, as Kramer said, he was Kenny Pickett before Kenny Pickett. He went to Pitt. He played for the Steelers. He had cancer. He wasn't Le'Veon Bell. They like that about him, if you know what I mean. So I do like James Conner returning. I know everyone likes James Conner. But this Arizona team, they're hitting their stride with losing. They got that number 1 pick in their sights. They're hoping Carolina has bumps up, which I don't think they will with this coaching change. But Arizona's like, okay, I think we finally got it. I think we finally get the assignment. Kyler Murray, you get the assignment, right? You can play all the Metal Gear you want because we want to lose games and move on. Play Halo, play Twisted Metal, play Five Nights at Freddy's, whatever the effing games are, play them. And just don't win these games because now they're getting blown out again. The Rams blew them out last week. So Yin's got a big one this week. Pittsburgh -5.5. I think they roll like the old Steelers of old time versus Arizona. Bomb it. So to recap, for the Circa contest, we are 12-3, finishing off the quarters, hoping to go 5-0. We're going to go Atlanta -2, Tampa Bay -5, Denver +3.5, Tennessee +1, Pittsburgh -5.5. All those bombs. All those bombs. Survivor. Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay both make good survivors. We're going to go with Jacksonville over Cincinnati, though, just because, which is a Monday night game. Jacksonville, I don't want to lay the 8.5, but they're going to beat Cincinnati. Cincinnati, which is one of the favorites, best teams in the league, are now an instant fade because of Jake Browning. That's how horrible the NFL is when it comes to the system they set up. It's a great sport. They dominate the world. They dominate America. They dominate the ratings and all that. But it's run by like 8 people on the planet. 30-year-old dads that play quarterback. The Bengals were one of the best teams in the league. They had Joe Burrow. Then he gets hurt. Now they're a disaster. Because there's only like 8 or 9 people that can throw a football in the NFL. Maybe don't make your offenses so fucking complicated that you need these jerks like Aaron Rodgers. Justin has a fantasy question. I'll take a fantasy question. Dak or Mahomes this week? Well, you got to take Dak. I mean, Dallas, which starts pretty soon. I'd take Dak, smash that. I like Kansas City this week, but Sunday night in Lambeau, the conditions aren't nearly as bad. And that offense is questionable. I know they put up a lot on the Raiders, but they have no receivers, although they have Vantez Scantling returning. But Dak is on fire. Even as an Eagle fan and a Cowboy hater, you can't deny Dak and their offense is on fire, and especially at home. So I wouldn't even think twice about that. Play Dak. Anyway, that's going to do it for the bombs. Now let's go into the box. Wow, I just noticed the box is kind of faded out a little bit. I'll have to zoom in when we get later. I kind of like the distant box. You have the dog puppy head over there, which looks like a Russian hat. You have half my thumbnail of the wallpaper in the Rams. Maybe I'll take away the banner. Should I take away the banner? Let me see. A little bit. Yeah, I kind of want to take that down for a second. That's kind of cool looking. Anyway, welcome to the box, man in the box, you everyone. Thank you for joining on the show here. Let's wrap this up. Or should I put that thing back? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I never know what to do. Let's put the overlay back. Yeah, it's fun. It is the end of Movember, as I said. I think I mentioned this last show. I was taken off guard when someone asked me if I was wearing this mustache because of Movember, which is the month of November where men rock their mustache, grow a mustache to raise awareness for men's diseases like prostate cancer and serious things like that. Sean and Ryan have a bet between Eagles and Giants tight ends. Loser has to grow a mustache. My point being, I'm realizing that I might need a new look. I have a mustache. My regular look is a mustache. And to the outside world, it's either people lose bets and they have to do this, or it's something you wear to stand out to raise awareness for a terrible disease. Oh, why do you have that under your nose? To make me know about a cancer in a man's asshole? Yep. No, what? Sure. Yep. Do I give you money? Yeah, please give me money. I need a new look. I was mistaken for a ticket scalper the other day. That's not good. For my own show, my own stand-up shows. Because, hey, you got a ticket for this? What? Get out of here, kid. Get off my yard. Also, yes, I do. I'll let you in. Give me $20. I'll let you inside here. Oh, there's a Modest Mouse show. Is Modest Mouse even a hip band? I don't know. That's what came up with my. That didn't even come up with my Spotify Wrapped. Point is, I grew the mustache as a joke, like everyone does, and then after a while, you're like, "Well, is this a joke? Now I just wear a mustache." Now I try to shave it, and it's back within 4 hours. Now I can't get rid of it. So be careful. Careful out there with your mustaches. People will think you're raising awareness for disease. Anyway. So yes, Spotify Wrapped. Modest Mouse. Everyone had their Spotify Wrapped playlists come out yesterday. Boy, that was kind of annoying already on Twitter and whatever. People are posting and sharing their Spotify Wrapped. What a marketing tool this is. Spotify, and if you're listening on Spotify, thank you. Subscribe to it, although they don't pay their artists. This podcast is fine, but musicians and comics, whatever. They send you a list of what you listened to, the little package, and how many listens you had, and where, blah, 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 what your favorite songs were. Like I have a choice in the fucking matter. You listen to Tame Impala for 8 months straight. I did. I don't know. You tell me, Spot. Whatever you say, Spotify. I didn't punch it in. People send me a list. You send lists. You're a machine. You're the machine. You make the lists. I just listen to it. Whatever. I don't know. People are like, did you have you heard of the new Tame Impala? I don't know. You tell me. I haven't punched anything in 12 years. I don't like all these Spotify lists being thrown out there. People are like, look how, because you want people to think you're cool with it. You know? Your Spotify Wrapped or year-end lists that you share on social media, that's who you want people to think you are. You know? That's your ideal self. It's like Instagram or anything else. You want to perceive like you're living a great life and look good. So it's your best pictures. So these are my best music, your best playlist. I don't buy it. That's not who you are. It's not who you really are. You know who you really are? Shazam. Your Shazam list is who you are meant to be. That's how God made you. Let's open up that hood. Let's see it. You want to stop being a coward. Show me your Shazam list. The one that hits your soul. That subgenre, that boy band. Open up the incognito window to your soul. Let me hear it. Let me see it. Let me see the Shazam list or touch tunes at a bar. See what you play over there. I want to see that data. That data. Fuck your Spotify list. Anyway, speaking of which, people are posting that your stats for your Spotify podcast, what you listen to most, and people are doing a lot for Sports Game Podcast Network and SGPN, and I'm glad they are. I haven't seen any C-Generates post that the Bottom Line Bombs is their number one podcast. I haven't seen that at all. C-Generates, I'm just saying. I'm fine if you do. If you don't, you don't. But I will say this. Anyone who tweets me, and my Twitter is at CJ Sullivan _ or an X, I should say, at CJ Sullivan _ tweet at me a screen grab or shot of the Bottom Line Bombs on your Spotify rap list and how many times you listen to it, what percentage you are. Even you don't have to be a top 1%. I don't care about that. Hell, I don't care if you give it one listen and it gives you that. I really don't care. But I will pick a list. And anyone who tweets at me in the next week, the Spotify list of the Bottom Line Bombs, and you listening to it, not the SGPN shit. I don't care what you do for them. They have enough. They're doing fine. The man in a box. That's who needs your help. It's just me in here, for God's sakes. Help me out. Put that, tweet at me that, and I'll give you a contest, a free man in the box, your choice, t-shirt or hoodie. I did a contact and that's true. You know, it'll come from me. Man in the box. The Bet Detective. I got to get a Bet Detective merchandising up in here. That'll be next. Anyway. So do that. Follow me on Instagram too. At CJ Sullivan was taken. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'll do it next week. I'll give you guys a full week, and then I'll announce the winner, and you'll get a free Man in the Box t-shirt. That's pretty good. I also have to give one out for the review. Make sure you give me a 5-star review on the podcast on Spotify or iTunes, and a review, and I'll give you a Man in the Box shirt for that too. That's a pretty good deal. Look at me. I just cost myself money. I better win these bets now. I got to buy these shirts for you, degenerates. But I'm happy to do it because you guys have been supportive of me. We're growing. I'll tell you what, we're growing. Every Monday and Thursday, we do it live on the C Block. We're going to continue on. And if we ship this, go 5-0, win some cash, we'll do a lot of things for you. All right. What do we got? 53 minutes, choice. I was going to talk about that basketball tournament. I went to a Clippers game last week, and it was the tournament where they painted the court, and no one knows what's going on. People are irate. What I like about the basketball tournament in the NBA, I'll talk about this real quick. Why not? I just like how upset people are with it. People are freaking the fuck out. The point differential thing really upsets people. And I can't follow along. I need a spread Excel sheet to know who's doing what. Like, calm down. It's a tiebreaker. Yeah, if they didn't play head to head, they go to points. So what? Well, we're not soccer. That is true. They're like, well, they do it in soccer. Yeah, well, soccer they score like 2 goals tops. That's a high scoring affair if they score 2 goals. So now you got basketball games. They're just running it up because they have to, and the players don't know the rules. Like, they're getting in fights in the hallways, which I love, because like, what the fuck, you're running it up. You're up 30 and you're fouling Andre Drummond. I'm sorry, it's the rules. It's what we got to do. And they don't play them at the same time. That's what you have to do. Whatever. People are like, it's more exciting. And it is more exciting. There was that Golden State Sacramento game the other night. And Golden State had to win by 12. And if they didn't, they're out. So they're up by 20 for a while. It was going great. And then, Sacramento came back. Sacramento knew all they had to do was not lose by 12. So they gets around 6 points with like 10 seconds to go. And Golden State's still trying to jack it up and get to 12. They lost the game outright. And these games count for the regular season. That's what's amazing. That's what people aren't talking about. You're playing the game differently when you have to score a certain amount of points. Like, Golden State wasn't trying to win the game. They were trying to win by 12. And that cost them the game. A game in the standings. Now, luckily, it's the NBA, and every single team makes the playoffs, so ultimately it won't matter. But what I did find interesting, which it didn't happen, was Golden State was like down by 1 or up 1, and their only hope with a couple seconds to go was to go overtime. So they were kind of like thinking like a gambler, like, we need overtime to cover this spread. They got to cover a spread. Now you're with this team. That's what I like about it. The gamblers, the players literally have money on the game because they win more money if they win this Vegas tournament, which is also hilarious. They're doing this because they need to motivate their players to play and give a shit in the regular season because they don't right now. And nor should they. because the entire sport and our entire culture is made up of like, if you don't win a championship, you ain't shit. Well, you can't tell me the playoffs are everything and then say, well, the regular season matters too, because it doesn't. Anyway, it would have been great if, let's say the game was tied, which could have been obviously easily could have been, and Golden State had the ball for the final possession and they just let it dribble out and didn't try to shoot because they needed overtime. That would have been pure chaos in the talking head world. ESPN, those guys would have lost their fucking minds. Sports writers, they would try not to score so they could win by more in overtime. They would have fucking flipped their lid. Oh, I was so hoping for that to happen because these people still aren't talking about it. There's like, the courts are painted. It's like Mexico City out there. Woo! Isn't it great? Anyway, that's going to do it for today's Bottom Line Bombs. I am the man in the box. Again, thank you, C. Generates. This weekend, I will be in Dallas, Texas, enemy territory of the game tonight. Hope Seattle keeps it within 9 at Hyenas. If you want to see me do stand-up comedy, I'll be at Hyenas all weekend in Dallas with TJ Miller. We're going to do some great shows. It's going to be fun. Come out and see me if you're there. I'll say hi. I'll sign something if you want me to. Papers? I don't know. Do people still sign things? Take a picture. We'll have a drink. I'll have a nice high C. Hi, CJ. Hi, C Generates. Anyway, other than that, yeah, follow me on Instagram. CJ Sullivan was taken, not like Liam Neeson, but like the name was taken. At CJ Sullivan _ for Twitter. Make sure you tweet at me those fucking screenshots of your Spotify rap list of my show. I don't care how many times you listen to it. I don't care if it's just this show. You got a free Man in the Box t-shirt if you get chosen for number 1. Other than that, that's going to do it for this thing, right? Let's just hit a theme song, get out of here and have a weekend and hope to get 5-0 and do things of that nature. That'll be incredible. Do I ever do things? Do things ever do to me? Do not get the venti Americano. My God, I don't even know what I'm doing. All right, guys. See you.